Hey everybody, how's it going? So recently I was watching YouTube videos when I thought, hey, why aren't there any guides teaching people how to land in Apex Legends? So I went out and got a teaching degree, and I'm ready to teach you scrubs how to land, loot, and win in Apex Legends. So without further ado, class is in session. Put your phones up, unless you're watching my video on your phone, in which case you can keep it out.
And what do you do again?
The pit can be located at the top left corner of the map, right here. And landing in it is pretty straightforward, considering it's just one big hole in the mountain. When you and your team jump for the pit, I recommend waiting until you can see this white thingy that sticks out the top. If you're approaching from the side where you can't see the white thingy, then you're going to be close enough no matter where you jump from, really. So you shouldn't worry about that too much. But sadly, things don't always go as planned, and sometimes you land short. Landing short at the pit could mean life or death for you. So if you do land short, be sure to just go over to one of these entrances and just drop down through the cracks, or go through the middle and drop down. But you're going to have to be fast if anyone else landed there, or else they'll get a gun and probably kill you. But thankfully, you don't have to worry about that too much. No one really lands here. Most people focus on the bigger locations like Skulltown or Bunker. But just in case some other squad gets a little cocky and decides that they want to take your turf, I'm going to teach you how to fight them off.
And what do you do again?
When you're fighting at the pit, everything is very fast paced and close quarters. So the first thing you're going to want to do is spot your enemy before they spot you.
Enemy spotted.
As soon as you land, you're going to want to try to find your gun as quick as possible. And as soon as you do that, it's time for a full out turf war. As soon as you down your opponent, you need to get rid of them as soon as possible so you can get whatever they looted. Now, even though there are many ways to go about this, I found the easiest ways to either A, beat them to death like a Neanderthal, or B, you can just shoot them down like a respectful American citizen. Just be sure to keep a close eye on your ammo, considering you're not going to have much to start out with. But if you do get downed, it's all good, because your teammates will carry you anyways.
Good looking out.
Once you've successfully taken back your territory, it's time to claim your prize.
And what do you do again?
Surprisingly, the pit is actually a high tier loot area with a 90% chance of containing high tier loot. Once you land in the pit, you'll be able to find 3 supply bins and also some floor loot that's scattered around on these little mats all around the pit. You'll also be able to find a high tier item in the middle. This is usually like a Phoenix kit or some armor. Also be on the lookout for loot ticks, because there's usually one around the area somewhere. The loot here is more quality over quantity, and sometimes there isn't enough loot to go around, so feel free to be as greedy as possible if you want good gear. The pit is mostly used for late to mid-game loot, and many people never land here, so it's a great spot for noobs or solos. I guess you could say the pit's more of a pit stop than an actual landing area.
And what do you do again?
The pit is in an extremely good position, and it's smack dab in the middle of 3 other great loot spots, and it even has 3 paths that rotate to them. The first path I decided to nickname Waterwalk, which, I'm going to nickname these so you can help yourself with callouts. But anyway, the reason I call it Waterwalk is because it leads you to Oasis, which is right outside Runoff, and Runoff is also another high tier loot area, so it's a good place to rotate to. Also, if you die during the turf wars, there's no reason to worry, because your friends can revive you at the respawn beacon right in the middle of Oasis. The second path I've decided to nickname Death, because it leads you to a couple buildings that help you rotate right into Bunker. And let's be honest, whatever comes good from Bunker, unless you're caustic. Bunker's it's just wonderful. It's a wonderful place. But if you're feeling like you don't want to get gassed to death, you can always just rotate to Cascades instead. Wait, Cascades? Cascades. I think that's how you say it. Please don't hate me. The circle will most likely be in this direction anyway, so it's a really convenient place to rotate to so you can loot up before heading into the circle. The third and final path I like to call Slum Street because it leads you to Slum Lake. This is my favorite place to rotate to because it has a respawn beacon and a redeploy, so you and your squad can move around or rotate back to the pit if you start getting fired at. But it is a good idea to be cautious because if another team did land here, they'll likely have better loot than you, so just be ready for that. But when many people land Slum Lakes, they usually don't land in this area, they usually land in the other kind of market-like area. They don't usually land here, so you can usually get some loot before you run into anybody. One thing I like about all these rotations is that it gives you a lot of options, and if an area is already looted or covered in enemies, you can just fall back and try another. Just always remember to watch your back because enemies can still use those paths to get to you, and you don't want them flanking you and killing you. Anyway, in conclusion, I'm going to give the pit a solid 8.5 out of 10. The reason I'm giving it such a high number is despite the fact that enemies may land there, or you might not find enough loot, there are so many options and routes to take that it really makes up for it. Plus the pit's in a really good position, and it's a real good place to help new players get the swing of things. This is one of my favorite spots to land, plus, I mean, it's a really good spot to land if you're actually trying to win. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to like and subscribe. If there's anything in my video you saw you didn't like or you did like, be sure to just let me know in the comments below so I can improve. Please subscribe. I need to get to at least 100 subscribers so my friends will stop bullying me, so please subscribe.